Welcome to another episode of Flim Flam Film Forum. I'm your co-host, Will Freeney.
And I'm Anita Fernandez. Let's get started with today's movie,
Which is Get Low, from 2009, starring Robert Duvall in a command performance with able assistance from Bill Murray, Lucas Black, Bill Cobb, and a host of others.
Yeah, it's really a worthy watch. I liked it very much.
Would you like to run down the production details?
Oh, sure. Well, first of all, it's a period piece, my favorite, as everyone knows, and it's set in, well, there are Model Ts driving around. It's probably the 30s because everyone looks pretty poverty-stricken. And, of course, the Great Depression had a lasting impact and a devastating impact on the South.
And the whole country.
And the whole country, but the South really suffered.
And the fictional setting for this movie actually looks like it's a rather thriving, bustling little town.
Mm-hmm.
But as you mentioned, it looks like it's the 30s, and it's supposed to be the 30s because the story is loosely based on an actual historical story that happened in 1938.
Yeah. So, at any rate, Get Low has a subtitle, A True Tall Tale. So it is based on a true story, and I think it's a remarkable story. So let's talk.
Let's dive right
Let's
in.
dive in.
The basic infrastructure for the personnel for this film is that it was directed and edited by Aaron Schneider from a screenplay by Chris Provenzano, C. Gabby Mitchell, and Scott Seek, with a story by Chris Provenzano and Scott Seek. So C. Gabby Miller apparently was recruited to help turn the story into the screenplay. Produced by a long list of producers, but the top two are Dean Zanuck and David Grunlach, and then starring Robert Duvall, Sissy Spacek, Bill Murray, Lucas Black, Gerald McRaney, and Bill Cobbs, with cinematography, one of your favorite topics positions to discuss, by David Boyd.
That's the cinematographer, David Boyd. And for me, this movie was shot in overall warm tones, which for me is reminiscent of sepia tone photographs, the old photographs. And the sets were very detailed, very well put together, beautiful actually. The scenery in the countryside was very nice.
And the interiors did tend to be a little dark, which is part of that sepia tone impression. But the woods in which the main character, Felix Bush, lives are a perfect monolithic gray from the trees that form the woods that comprise most of his property.
And he's an artist, actually. He's a builder, and throughout the movie, wood and wood grain are kind of showcased. It's part of his art to work with wood, and the shots of the finished walls of his cabin, paneling, and his table that he made are really nice. It contributes to the warm tone and the look of the entire movie.
And his skill as a carpenter / designer is further emphasized by the church that he actually built for Bill Cobb's character, the Reverend Charlie Jackson, which was a masterpiece of simple but serene beauty for the chapel that he built. So the basic story, the movie opens with an altercation between a neighborhood boy who has the audacity to come on to Felix Bush's property and throw a rock at his window, and he responds by coming out with his rifle and firing in the general direction of the boy who threw the rock, who, naturally terrified, runs off. And that sets the tone for who Felix Bush is, who he is, how he is known within the community that he has fled and lived for 40 years as a recluse from.
Yes, a curmudgeonly recluse. Just a big old grump, and everyone avoids him in town. Everyone in town avoids him because there are all these rumors circulating about him, stuff that went around 40 years ago that no one really knows the truth about. As rumors can go, they're exaggerated, some of them, or some of them have no truth to them at all.
But he is known to be curmudgeonly is actually a kind way of putting it. He can be downright angry, and sometimes it is legitimate, as in the character played by Scott Cooper, Carl, decides to pick a fight with Felix when he comes into town, and he picked the wrong mean old recluse to pick on. It doesn't turn out so well for Carl. But he's also known not only in the violence of his lifestyle, but also in his taciturn. He hasn't had much reason to talk to people since he's been living by himself in a cabin far outside of town. But he nonetheless earned a reputation as not being much of a talker. Into the story, he ends up being on a radio show and suddenly launches into grabs the mic away from the DJ and starts to talk. And one of the characters who is in the listening audience for that radio show says, "Wow, he decided he can talk."
Well, it was kind of monosyllabic, but still, yeah.
Well, it did get into the black. Before we get into the actual plot, we flesh out a little more of the production details. For those of you that haven't watched it and are planning on watching it, and that should be all of you that haven't already watched it, it's 100 minutes and it'll go by like that. I guarantee it. And retrospectively, although it's a bit of a sleeper of a movie, a lot of people haven't heard of it. Anita hadn't heard of it until I recommended it. But it did manage to go into the black. It had a $7 million budget and had a box office of $10.8 million.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah. It's not burning up the box office. They didn't decide to do a reboot. Thank goodness.
And I think that's in large part due to Robert Duvall. I mean, this is the kind of role he excels with. You know, he can emote really, really well and get his feelings across. When he sinks his teeth into a role like this, you know that what you see in front of you as an actor. This is not, he's the character. He's not Robert Duvall.
At all.
At all.
Plays, as he should in this case, a taciturn curmudgeon, but there is also a comic and romantic balance in different characters. The comic balance comes primarily from Bill Murray, who does another stand-up job, and it's under an understated, low-key kind of persona that he presents, but then he's playing an alcoholic mortician. So
yeah. Well, you know, though, he's a little more subtle than usual, and he comes across as a little more sincere than usual, and that really is the key to good comedy, is playing it straight. If you play a role seriously, it gets laughs, you know, depending on the lines and timing, of course. But yeah, he did a great job.
He did a fantastic job. So the basic premise of the movie is that Robert Duvall's character, Felix Bush, has been in the woods by himself for 40 years because of a dark secret in his past 40 years ago. And he's decided that he wants to come clean with the community while he's still alive. So he is requesting a funeral while he is still alive. So essentially, he can provide his own eulogy and thereby ask forgiveness of the community for the cause of his reclusion for these 40 years. Initially, he receives immediate denial from the white church preacher who says, "I can't do that." But then he seeks out a friend, Reverend Charlie Jackson, played by Bill Cobbs, who he feels, I think, owes him something because he did build his church for him. But nonetheless, Charlie, once he hears the premise that he's going to be providing words at a funeral for a guest of honor who's still alive and present, says no.
Yeah, he flatly refuses, and which causes a little bit of drama. We revisit the whole idea of the main character going back to his roots and visiting the minister who was once a close friend, and the story begins to form as to what happened, but it doesn't really come to the crux until Felix Bush stands up and speaks into the mic at his own funeral. So it's worth the watch just for that part alone.
And but the foregrounding of that secret is peppered throughout the plot, starting with the interaction between Sissy Spacek's character Maddie Darrow, who runs into Felix downtown, and they're both new to downtown. She has come back after being widowed, and he has come back after being a recluse for 40 years. And they meet when he's getting dressed and groomed for his funeral. I think she wanders into the store where he's buying his suit.
Right.
And it's obvious the chemistry between them, that there was something there, which is very slowly revealed and complicates the whole story considerably.
Right, it does. And I think that they were a good match, chemistry-wise. There was good casting there. Pivotal to the story.
Maddie and Felix, yeah, they are the two main characters, Heathcliff and whatever her name is.
Kathy.
But instead, we're set in the Deep South, and it's Felix Bush and Maddie Darrow. The cast, the talent in this cast runs deep, and as I want to make a habit in every review we do, that we give a little tip of the hat and a little expansive history to some of the supporting actors. Last week it was Judy Greer.
It definitely was Judy Greer.
But this week it is Lucas Black, who plays Buddy Robinson, who is the sidekick to the assistant to Bill Murray's mortician. And he does a great job of effusing since clean-cut, honest, dependable, responsible. He's a freaking Boy Scout as well.
Yeah.
But and he has a wife and a small child, and we'll get to the wife. But Lucas Black is one of those guys. He's like an everyman. You see him, but the interaction between him and Bill Murray in this movie is special. They both understand and tolerate each other. But there's that kind of, Bill Murray is kind of looking down his nose at the innocence and credulity of Buddy, but on the other hand, he's taking advantage of his dependability to do the work because Bill is an alcoholic.
Yes, and you know, his assistant is always honest, wants to do the right thing, and Bill Murray's character, Frank Quinn.
Quinn's Mortuary.
Frank Quinn of Quinn's Mortuary is in the habit of taking advantage of this young man who is honest to a fault. And he kind of messes him around a lot. Well, he messes him around to where he's very, the young character Buddy expects it. He anticipates this shisty behavior from his boss.
Oh my God.
What?
Is it time for me to cut in about
Go ahead.
The deep story on Lucas Black, which I didn't read. I scanned this.
Oh.
His first role at age 11 was in, I love this movie, The War, Kevin Costner's movie, The War. He plays his son.
Oh, I didn't see it.
And that was Lucas Black's first ever acting job.
Was it about the Civil War?
No, it was
It was-
modern times. It was about
okay.
relatively modern, the Vietnam War.
Okay. So say that again.
Which part? Lucas Black's first acting job was at the age of 11 when he appeared in Kevin Costner's film The War, playing Kevin Costner's character's son. And he was subsequently cast as Caleb Temple in CBS's American Gothic in 95 and 96, and in Sling Blade, which I'm still trying to recollect what role he had in that, Ghosts of Mississippi, and The X-Files. He was a very busy child actor. He has an extensive filmography, even though he was born in 1982 and is just now 43 years old. Actually, be 43 in November. But he also played Oakley in the historical drama Cold Mountain, and you may not have heard of this. I certainly never have, but might be worth hunting down just for novelty's sake. In 2004, he played Vernon, an autistic piano prodigy in the indie musical drama Killer Diller. He was also in Friday Night Lights.
Oh.
He is just the all-American.
Well, I know he was on NCIS New Orleans.
Right. And it mentions his role in Get Low. He also played Pee Wee Reese in the film 42, 2013. Yeah. Having done previous sports films and played sports early in his life, found the filming experience, quote, a lot more enjoyable because you get to reminisce about the days when I used to play, and then you get the experience of being on a team again with the actors and have that camaraderie with the players.
Wasn't he in a minor league, on a minor league team?
That might very well be. It was subsequent to that he went to NCIS New Orleans, playing Special Agent Christopher LaSalle, a no-nonsense agent. So maybe this is kind of a character actor thing, that he plays the no-nonsense, quote, work hard, play hard motto.
Could be.
He was also in one of his mid-career levels of success was as a regular in the multiple installations of the Fast and Furious franchise as Sam Boswell, returning to play Sam in a cameo appearance in Furious 7, but he did not appear in the 8th installment, The Fate of the Furious. And in July 2016, he explained on the Chris Mannix Show that he could not return due to a schedule with NCIS New Orleans.
Yeah, I was going to say it's probably something like that.
And
conflict.
In real life, but nothing is more real than the movies, is it? But in the other life he lives when he's not on set, he is married to Maggie O'Brien, a lawyer whom he married in 2010, and they have 3 children. Oh my God. He is a Christian and a registered Republican.
Oh, I'm sorry. We'll cut that out.
You don't want to acknowledge that? It is what it is. And just a quick read through his filmography and awards without the extensive backgrounding of his roles that I gave to Judy Greer. As I mentioned, he was in The War, the Kevin Costner opus, in Sling Blade, Ghosts of the Mississippi, Flash, The X-Files as Stevie, Our Friend Martin, in which he was a voiceover actor named Randy, Crazy in Alabama, All the Pretty Horses, Cormac McCarthy, The Miracle Worker as James Keller. What relation is James
I think it
to
was
Helen?
her brother.
Cold Mountain, Killer Diller. I really want to see that now. just for the sake of the title. And you should want to see it because it's a musical.
Oh, well.
In Friday Night Lights, Deepwater, Jarhead. Have you seen Jarhead? About the first Iran war?
I don't know that I have.
Written by Swafford, who's actually a Sacramentan.
Mm.
Fast and Furious, Tokyo Drift, then Get Low, then Legion, then 7 Days in Utopia, Promised Land, 42 as Pee Wee Reese, Furious 7, F9, more of the Fast and Furious franchise. That's almost as good as Flim Flam Film Forum, Fast and Furious franchise. Legacy peak in 2022. In 2023, he was in Birthright Outlaw as Reverend Jeremiah Jacobs. Pure Flix original film streaming. I want to see that. And most recently in film, in Unsung Hero as Jed Albright. What have we? Oh yes, TV. Not as extensive. He's far more a film actor, but in his youth, he was in American Gothic as Caleb Temple and in Chicago Hope as Noah Fielding in the episode The Sun Also Rises. NCIS for 2 years, and then NCIS New Orleans for 5 years. A total of 4 episodes for the former and 125 episodes for the latter as Special Agent Christopher Chris LaSalle. And last of his TV credits to date was all the way back in 2016, Croc Hill Mountain, where he played Caleb McLaughlin. I wonder if there's some kind of contractual arrangement he has that his character must be named Caleb. He was Caleb Temple in American Gothic and Caleb McLaughlin in Croc Hill Mountain. Awards, we have praise for him for his performance here. And his extended career speaks for itself to some extent, but specific awards that he has won include the Screen Actors Guild nomination for Outstanding Performance by a Cast in 1996. It was back in his child acting days. Also, for Sling Blade, he was nominated for a Clotrudis Award as Best Supporting Actor. The Academy of Science Fiction, Fantasy, and Horror Films for Sling Blade.
Really?
He won Best Performance by a Younger Actor. Also for Sling Blade, he won from Young Star Awards 2 awards. Oh, no, one was for American Gothic. The other was, he was nominated for American Gothic, but he won Best Performance by a Young Actor in a Drama Film from Young Star Awards. Not to be confused with Young Artist Awards, which for Flash, he was nominated for Best Performance in a TV Movie, Pilot Miniseries, Leading Young Actor. And in Crazy in Alabama in 2000, he also received a nomination from Young Artist Awards and from Young Star Awards for his performance in Crazy in Alabama.
Which is a really good, also very good movie.
Oh.
I liked it.
Good to know. And All the Pretty Horses, 2001, garnered him a nomination from Young Artist Awards for Best Performance in a Feature Film as a Supporting Young Actor. So all of his awards and nominations to date, if we can trust Wikipedia, have been for his youthful acting career. The last of those was Teen Choice Awards in 2006, where he was a male breakout star for Fast and Furious Tokyo Drift. And that's all I know about Lucas Black.
Okay. Well, I want to get into a little bit of information about Bill Cobbs because he is often seen and seldom spoken about, I think. Also,
and is no longer with us.
He's no longer with us. Last year, he passed away, June 25th, 2024. He was born in Cleveland, Ohio, and his birth name Wilbert Francisco Cobbs. So Bill Cobbs, I would have chosen that too. He started out as an amateur actor in the Caramoo House Theater. He starred in the Ossie Davis play Pearly Victorious, which is, if he is the star, that is a hefty part. It's the entire play is based on this one character, and he's in almost every scene. So
which play is that?
Pearly Victorious.
Oh, right.
He was an Air Force radar technician for 8 years, and this is when he was starting out and he was young. He also worked in office products at IBM and sold cars in Cleveland. In 1970, at the age of 36, he left for New York to seek work as an actor. There, he turned down a job in the NBC sales department in order to have time for auditions. He supported himself by driving a cab, repairing office equipment, selling toys, and performing odd jobs. His first professional acting role was in Ride a Black Horse at the Negro Ensemble Company. And from there, he began to appear in small theater productions and street theater. And he was in, he was at the Regional Theater and the Eugene O'Neill Theater. And his first television credit was in Vegetable Soup, a New York public television educational series. And I think I remember that role. And he made his feature film debut in The Taking of Pelham 123 in 1974.
Great movie.
Yeah. So he went on to do several television shows, guest stars. He was in
The Bartender in Trading Places. It provided essential supporting complement to a number of significant films throughout the 80s, starting with Trading Places, Silkwood, The Brother from Another Planet, The Color of Money, and Bird, and The Man Who Shoots Wesley Snipes in New Jack City. He was also the grandpa in The People Under the Stairs, the singer's manager in The Bodyguard.
And The Bodyguard. Right.
With Whitney, right?
Right.
A police officer in Demolition Man, one of my favorite quirky, speculative stories. And the Clock Man in Hudsucker Proxy.
Oh, right. I remember that, which I Hudsucker Proxy was a really, really good film. I want to review that sometime.
Okay. He also played Medgar Evers' older brother, Charles Evers, in Rob Reiner's Ghosts of Mississippi. And then, no matter how good you are or how well you blend into the cast and set, at some point Disney will snatch you. He played basketball player Arthur Chaney in Disney's Air Bud.
Oh, Air Bud.
Then he was I was in 97, and in 98 he was in Hope Floats, which I am familiar with the title. I have know nothing.
Bullock, movie. It was very good, actually.
The porter in I Still Know What You Did Last Summer, a doctor in Sunshine State, and then Enough, and a blues musician in a mighty wind, which is the send up of folk music, right?
Well, Bill Cobbs was one of those staples that we always talk about. You almost don't know he's there, but you can't do without him. I mean, he helps to shore up the whatever production he's in. He's just an essential part, even though it may be a smaller part or second banana type part. He's up for it, and he's terrific in whatever he's in. He
also went late in his career in 2020, guest starred in a two-part series finale of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., playing an unnamed elderly S.H.I.E.L.D. agent.
Oh, right.
And the same year, he also won a Daytime Emmy for Outstanding Limited Performance in a Daytime Program for the series Dino Dana.
I'm not familiar.
And his last credited appearance of his life came in 2023 in the miniseries Incandescent Love. He died from natural causes at his home in Upland, California, June 25th, 2024, shortly after his 90th birthday. He never married and had no children. It's a good life.
Well, he lived to...
He did a great actorly life.
Yeah, he lived to a ripe old age. I'm sure he seems like the type of person who was self-sufficient and getting around and doing well for himself. So,
and had friends, no doubt.
Good life, yeah.
With friends, who needs family?
He was certainly a great actor. I liked anything he was in, anything he was anything I noticed him in, he was wonderful, I thought. Perfect for the part.
And although at this point, the point of when Get Low was filmed in 2009, Sissy Spacek had more than reached the apex of her career. But in her role in this movie as Maddie Darrow, she is still awesome in her understated. I don't know. Maybe in the same way that Lucas Black just as naturally conveys sincere, hardworking ethics, Sissy somehow emanates a kind of innocence and candor that is unique to her characters.
Yeah, she's usually very guileless and sweet. The thing is that this is an actor who plays with sincerity, and whatever part she's in, she's all in. I really like the as I said before, the chemistry between her character and that of Robert Duvall's Felix and
Maddie.
Yeah, Felix and Maddie. And I think that it was great casting. They had a great rapport on the screen. I believed everything. So very believable.
And her scaling of her emotions to the situation. This is 1938, and she is white, but she's still a woman, which is still a notch down on the social hierarchy in general in society.
Right.
And so the restraint that she shows seems she's not underacting. She's acting perfectly on mark for who Maddie Darrow is.
Right, in those days and times.
Right. When she gets angry, you can see it on her face, and you can see it when she walks out the door or when she tells Felix to get out the door.
Right. And her body language speaks volumes. I like it when an actor involves body movements with the dialogue because it says so much more. And of course, that brings us back to Robert Duvall, who is one of my absolute favorites. Ever since Apocalypse Now.
I love the smell of napalm in the morning.
Right. I thought, man, that guy.
Well, before that, the Consigliere.
Oh, sure.
The Godfather.
For sure. And he's another actor. Every part he's up for, he's into, and he becomes the character. And that, in my estimation, is doing a good job. That's what he was hired to do, and he does it extremely well. He would not have garnered all the awards he's won had he, if not for that. So, he was in Lonesome Dove. I don't know if people remember that, but he was more than capable. Of course, his talent always shows through, and there again, he played it sincerely. He was the character.
And that was a feature film?
It was a miniseries.
Series, I thought so, yeah. Wikipedia spills the beans about all of the spoilers for this plot, but we're not going to do that. We've cued you, the prospective viewer who hasn't already seen the movie, that there is a dark secret in Felix Busch's past, and he will be the one to reveal that very near the end of the movie, although it becomes more and more foreshadowed as we near his funeral. But he tells the entire tale himself with emotional rendering.
Yes, and there again, his character is shapes up in the story as someone who has gone through a really emotional and devastating event in his life, and no one around him understands. It's happened 40 years prior, so of course rumors are flying. There are a lot of misconceptions about what happened, and so he really wants to clear things up before he is going to get low. And So back to a little history about Robert Duvall. In 1955, under the GI Bill, he studied under the Sanford Meisner, an acting coach in New York, along with Dustin Hoffman, and they shared an apartment, in fact.
Which is also who David Rashi, the character, the supporting actor from Read After Burning. Remember, I did a profile of the supporting actor, David Rashi. He also was a Meisner student.
He was a Meisner student. Cool. And both Hoffman and Duvall were close to another struggling young actor named Gene Hackman, also part of that Meisner group.
Mm-hmm.
So, but one of the remarkable performances for me was as Boo Radley in To Kill a Mockingbird, the black and white with Gregory Peck in the starring role. And he was very expressive, and yet he didn't speak throughout the whole movie. And I really liked the way he portrayed Boo Radley, who was the town recluse, actually.
Mm. And just some of the subplots that we can allude to without giving everything away is that Felix comes up with the idea, in addition to having a live guest of honor at the funeral, of having a raffle for the property of that live guest for when he does actually die, which leads to a great cash flow, which Bill Murray's character, Frank Quinn, is thrilled to be able to partake of as the manager of those funds. But Felix, from the beginning, to back up to early in the plot of this movie, when Buddy overhears the interaction between the white preacher and Felix about Felix wanting a funeral. He's there with his wife and child, I believe, to set up a baptism or something. You know, the family unit is at the church for their own business, but he overhears this conversation between Felix and the preacher and takes that news back to Frank, saying, "Hey, I got a customer for us," essentially. And so in the process, when Frank says, "Yeah, we could do that," Felix comes fully on board with moving forward. He wants to have a raffle for his property. Initially, the person that sells Felix with the idea of letting Frank's or Quinn's funeral home manage and run the funeral, it's Frank rolls up within gunshot range of of Felix's cabin, and then sends Buddy in to do the job. He says, "You're a salesman? All right, go sell." And from that point forward, it's Buddy who nearly gets shot walking up to the door of Felix's cabin, but manages to turn it around and explain why he's there and win the confidence of Felix, which is expanded upon throughout the remainder of the plot. Felix always says, when anything is happening with regard to the funeral that's in any way touched on by Quinn's funeral home, Felix says, "Let the boy take care of that." Because it's Buddy's character that is obviously the only one of the two funeral directors that
is trustworthy.
Felix trusts.
Yes, right. I just wanted to mention that Robert Duvall was memorable as the heavy who is shot by John Wayne at the climax of True Grit, filmed in 1969, and was the first Major Frank Burns, creating the character in Altman's Korea War comedy MASH in 1970.
I've forgotten all about that. Frank Burns.
He was Frank Burns, the first one.
Who in the novel, by the way, total trivia footnote, Frank Burns in the novel is a Nazarene.
Of course you would know that.
I would.
or mark that in your
I was
memory.
struck by that.
Yeah. One of the films I saw that I thought was terrific back in the 70s, in 1971, was THX 1138. And I don't know, it's a very slow-moving, futuristic, set in the future story about this lone man and his day-to-day life in the modern quote-unquote world. It's a very atmospheric almost story.
Kind of like Dead Men, only in the in the opposite direction and timeline-wise. So you refer to it as futuristic, THX, which I haven't seen, but Dead Men, which I have, as you will know.
And you feel that's futuristic, do you?
No, it's the same kind of speculative atmospheric setting, but it's set in a historical period, so it's historistic.
We're going to cut this part out, right?
No. These great epiphanies I have to be recorded somewhere.
Oh, of course. All right.
Moving on.
So, and of course, he was in The Godfather in '74. He was
this
also,
is going to be your Judy Greer moment.
Maybe.
Robert Duvall for days.
He also was in The 7% Solution and The Eagle Has Landed.
Hold it. 7% Solution. Sherlock Holmes.
It's a Sherlock Holmes. I read the book, actually.
What role did he have in the movie?
I do not know.
Okay.
I
Proceed.
might cut that out, too.
Oh, yeah. Well, in case you don't trust us to recommend this movie to you, and we do we not? Just 2 thumbs up,
I think you should.
2 snaps,
Yeah.
3 snaps. But it also, in case you don't trust us, has an 84% on Rotten Tomatoes based on 143 reviews with an average of 7.2 out of 10. And the site's critics' consensus is, quote, subtle to a fault. This perfectly cast ensemble drama is lifted by typically sharp performances by Robert Duvall and Bill Murray, end quote. Yeah.
I totally agree.
Can't fault that description.
Not at all.
But he was in his 80s when he made this, right? 2009?
Must have been, boy. He was. There's no way you could have told. I mean, he looks at least 25, if not 30 years younger.
Than that.
Than
80.
Than 80, for sure.
Yeah, usually the difference between myself and people I see on the street, out in the gin pop, is not so much appearance at this point, but the difference between me and 80, people that I assume to be in their 80s, is just how slowly they move or how bent over they are. But there's none of that with Robert Duvall.
No, and there are many people who age in that same way. They are not bent over and shuffling and doddering, and they're together and sharp, and they do
things.
Yeah.
We doing
Unlike
things.
myself.
And Casey Birchby at DVD Talk, that bastion of video information, noted that Get Low contains, quote, a wonderful group of performances by a dream cast. Surprisingly, none of the leads were in the running for any of 2010's major awards.
That is surprising.
It is. And that's part, no doubt, of the reason that you and I are 2 of the only people on earth that
Have
know
seen
this film
movie?
exists.
Yeah, right. Well, everything's been, during that time period especially, it's been Marvel-driven, hero movies. Marvel and DC, they pretty much own that. And that is kind of, if you think about it, if you look at it, those are the only ones spending, those productions are the only ones spending big money toward production. People don't seem to want to invest in independent films as they once did. And something that's story-driven, that's impactful, and is not a hero movie, a superhero movie is, is kind of rare. So, and I hope it doesn't continue to be rare. I think that's just a fad, but I'm not sure, if the superhero thing is a fad. But I'm really not sure, and I hope we get back to a little more of seeing these impactful stories about life, because the other ones are just too physical. They're all about slamming people around or flying or, so these stories are more real and true to life, and I like them.
Well, you don't think Fast and Furious is true to life?
Yeah. Gosh, let me rethink that one.
And look how many iterations of that franchise there have been.
I know. It's like you fall asleep before you get through all of them. It's like...
You can fall asleep before you get through one of them.
Yeah.
I was doing my laundry in a motel once when I was a truck driver, and I turned on the TV in my room and then took my clothes to the washer, and then I came back and movie was still going. I think this was like I think it was 7, whatever title it had. It was the 7th iteration of Fast and Furious. And I don't know how many hours. It was on broadcast TV, so it was probably being interrupted by commercials.
Yeah, commercials.
Further extended, but it seemed like it went on for hours.
And you didn't miss a thing, did you?
No. Oh, there's the villain. I can tell him.
Yep.
He has a Russian accent.
Right. Screech those tires. Let's go.
Ah, Sissy Spacek, coal miner's daughter.
And Carrie.
Oh, and here's one supporting actor for whom there is ever so little information. She doesn't even have her own Wikipedia article, is the actor who plays Buddy's wife, played by Lori Beth Sykes, a.k.a. Lori Beth Edgman, who was born just a few months after my son, and not far away, in October 8th, 1975, in Dalton, Georgia. Known for her appearances in 3 movies, the last of them being in 2013. I'm not sure what she's been doing since, but those 3 movies were Road Trip.
Road Trip?
Yeah, she was one of the girls in Road Trip. Is Road Trip, right? Tom Green.
Yes,
and that dude, and then the other dude. But she was in that, and then Get Low, and then in 2009, and then Identity Thief in 2013. And that is all we know at this point. Other than that, she is married to Steve Edgman. They have 1 child. She was an instructor at the Dance Theater of Dalton in Dalton, Georgia. She graduated from Dalton High School in Dalton, Georgia in 1994 and graduated cum laude from Georgia State University with a Bachelor of Science degree in early childhood education and teaching. So there you have it. And she plays a very sincere and believable foil to Buddy. Mm-hmm. And she acts kind of as his on-screen conscience at times, as the counterpart to Frank Quinn's preferences. She seemed, because Buddy and Frank have a chemistry of their own, that they work together, they understand and have managed to blend their disparate personalities so they can be a team for the sake of mortuary science. But her character, Catherine Robinson. Catherine Robinson is a far more straight and narrow, uninfluenced by, and highly skeptical of the jaundiced perspective of Frank Quinn.
So you don't like Sissy Spacek?
Oh, you want to talk about Sissy Spacek? Sure. I said everything there was to be said. Coal miner's daughter.
Oh,
Get Low.
all right.
No, tell me more about the filmography and background. Sissy also, both of these characters, these supporting characters to play the Robinsons, Mr. and Mrs. Robinson, Lucas Black and Lori Beth Sykes / Edgman, are natives of the South. Lucas Black is from Alabama, and Lori Beth is from Georgia, as I mentioned. So they come very naturally to fleshing out that element of their characters. But tell us about Sissy Spacek as a Southerner?
I know that most people remember her from the Stephen King story, Carrie, that was adapted to film. And she played a teenage girl who, she was 26 years old at the time. It was filmed. So she looked like this little waif of a thing. And that's, which went against the character. The character.
She didn't play the title character, did she?
Yes, Carrie.
Sissy Spacek was Carrie?
Yes.
Well, you know, it's only been 50 years since I saw the movie.
Okay. As I was going to say, she was in the role of Carrie. She won her first of 6 Academy Award nominations for her for Best Actress, and again she played Loretta Lynn in Coal Miner's Daughter, and there are so many films that she's been in, which is
a testament to her desirability and
longevity.
Skill.
Yeah, she's her talent is undeniable. She's played different types of characters, and I know you asked me the other night if she has ever played villainous parts, and I'm pretty sure she has. Okay, in 1968, under the stage name Rainbow, she recorded her debut single, "John, You Went Too Far This Time."
That was a song?
Yeah. When sales sputtered, as they will, she was dropped by her record label. That's sad.
I had no idea that she was a
Singer?
singer.
Well, she did sing, and I did know.
And she actually sang
In Coal Miner's Daughter.
Coal Miner's Daughter?
She did.
There was no Loretta Lynn vocal
No.
in there?
No.
Ah,
And
good on her.
I know, right? New film for her, for Sissy Spacek, is Die, My Love. She plays the character Pam. So something to look forward to. We might
Oh, it's
take a look at that one.
forthcoming?
Yeah,
So she played a villainous character in that?
quite possibly. The film stars Jennifer Lawrence and Robert Pattinson, with Lawrence also producing. Supporting cast is Lakeith Stanfield, Sissy Spacek, and Nick Nolte.
Ah.
That's good.
Go see or stay home and see. Stay in bed and see, but definitely see Get Low. It's a low-key movie that has been under the radar for the past 16 years, but it's deserving of watching, and it's aged well. Wouldn't you agree?
I think so. Well, period pieces often do, because they are about a specific time, and you don't have to worry about time progressing and maybe
It's seeming outdated. It
Yeah,
was outdated
right.
at the outset. That's
Exactly.
acceptable. And if
Yeah.
you get it right, then without any anachronisms, then you're good.
Yeah, you're set. Exactly. And so I really recommend watching it. And for the character studies, if nothing else, Robert Duvall and Sissy Spacek shine with their characters.
And so does Bill Murray,
Yeah, Bill Murray, too. He sure does. He really does.
a darker but bright but shining light. we bid you adieu. Ta-ta. Bonsoir.
Say, join us next
revoir.
time.
Join us next time when we'll be reviewing another old movie. And we'll still be old.
And we'll still be old.
Maybe even older.
Yeah, we'll be older.
With every passing day.
Every day we're older.
Every motherfucking day. Bye-bye.
Bye. Thanks.
You're welcome. Yes.
Oh, shit.
What was this thing? That's cute.
Stop
I've never seen
it.
you do that before. You're reverting to your otter life.
My other life. Say it right. Other.
Otter.
Stop it. This is your show for...
This is
No,
our
no.
show.
This is the show. This is a show.
Don't give it away.
This is the show where old people review old films. But old films are reviewed. This is a show where old films are reviewed by old people.
Old people?
Shut up.
See, this part has to stay in. Shut up. You old poop.
This is the show where old people review old films.